Here's an interesting question. Is multi-streaming a good thing for streamers? If we're trying to picture the next big streamer, will they be multi-streaming or not? This is a question that comes from Ludwig, and I'm not trying to throw shade at him or anything. I only find the question interesting, so let's talk about his point of view. He believes that multi-streaming isn't a good idea for creators, at least not if they want to become the next big thing. And as a disclaimer, we're talking about already established creators, not people who are just getting started. So the premise is that multi-streaming would fracture the audience between two or more different platforms, and that audience would be more valuable to the streamer if it was focused on one single platform. It's like the opposite of the saying, don't put all your eggs into the same basket. Well, here, put all your viewers into the same platform. And yes, I can say that. You all come from an egg, in case you weren't sure or aware. Essentially, a bigger number on one platform would be king, rather than more overall viewers across multiple platforms. One nuance is that we're talking about day-to-day streaming here, not special one-time events like boxing matches or rapper collabs. For those, multi-streaming is a no-brainer. You want as many eyeballs as possible on the event. You want to maximize its reach across platforms. But what about regular streams then? Because here's one thing about streaming. Most of the time, streamers do jack shit. Most streamers go live, talk to chat for a while, then they get tired of doing that and put hashtag ad in the title to start playing some sponsored game and then go offline. It's not high octane content that's riveting or anything. And I think that for someone like Ludwig, the problem is all about keeping up the appearances. It's about making it look like there's a lot of people watching the stream. Because let's say he starts multi-streaming on two different platforms, YouTube and Twitch. He doesn't have much to gain compared to what he has to lose. He might have a bigger audience overall, but he also might have a dip in viewers on the one single platform that he usually uses, and that is dangerous. If he has less viewers on each individual platform, people are going to come in and they're just going to say, oh, well, this guy fell off. He's irrelevant now. Look at him. He only has a fraction of the viewers he used to have yesterday, so this guy must suck now. This is the thing that I think Ludwig is scared of and wants to avoid when it comes to multi-streaming. There is no risk that this is going to happen when it comes to big one-time events, but for regular day-to-day streaming, this is definitely a real concern. It's like a double whammy. You're not doing much on stream, and you have lower viewership. This is a bad situation, because usually you might not be doing much on stream, but you would have high viewership. And that's fine because people will click anyway if they see other people are watching. But is that a concern for Ludwig or for the next big streamer? I'm not so sure about that. There are very few streamers who manage to have a sizable audience on even just Twitch and YouTube. That's a normal thing. Multi-streaming is still relatively new, but that's just how things are looking right now. It doesn't mean that it'll stay this way. And you have plenty of Twitch streamers who have started streaming on YouTube, although most of them have a really small audience on YouTube, but they still retain their original big audience on Twitch, and that seems to be fine for them. So at the end of the day, I do disagree with Ludwig's take because I think he may just be a little insecure, or maybe he underestimates viewer loyalty. And I definitely agree that in his case, it could be a risky move to start multi-streaming in a way that if he was a Twitch streamer and he just added a YouTube stream instead of doing the opposite, it would definitely be less risky. He would have essentially nothing to lose. But here, he's not sure that he will get a big audience on Twitch again, and he will not be sure to keep his YouTube audience if he starts multi-streaming. But that's just for his own specific case, though. If you try to picture, let's say, Mr. Beast decides to become a full-time streamer all of a sudden, I don't see a world where it is not beneficial for him to multi-stream on both YouTube and Twitch, at least. Most of his audience will be on YouTube anyway, but he would have nothing to lose by multi-streaming. Even if he was streaming himself signing shirts all day, it would never become a dead stream on either platform, and he would have nothing to gain by making it YouTube only. Or at least I don't see it. I don't see what he would have to gain by just making it YouTube only. It doesn't make any sense to me that he wouldn't be multi-streaming in the environment that we have right now. So Ludwig's take is only relevant to his specific case, and on the contrary, multi-streaming is becoming the new normal. So it only makes sense that the next big streamer is going to be multi-streaming, because there is essentially no drawback if it is done correctly. And that's a big if, because you still have streamers like Ninja who decided to stream on every platform. And I still remember he made such a big deal about it as if it was going to revolutionize the internet or something. Guess what? It didn't. In fact, it did fracture his audience. It did make his Twitch stream a lot less popular, although I don't know if it's because of the multi-streaming aspect or because he stopped paying attention so much to his Twitch channel. But at the end of the day, it wasn't a big deal at all. Ninja multi-streaming was not a big deal. And even if he's still successful, he is a lot less relevant because of his decision. And it is 100% a failure because that was not his goal. He was trying to be big. He was trying to be relevant again. And he thought that this was his ticket to being more relevant. It just goes to show that the different platforms have different sensibilities when it comes to streaming, like different flavors. And what works on Twitch doesn't necessarily translate on other streaming platforms and vice versa. But to me, it's not hard to imagine a world where everyone is multi-streaming. And because of that, if someone figures out something appealing to a global audience and is able to cut through platforms, like something that works on every platform, and that person puts out something that is appealing everywhere, and then it doesn't become about why you watch, but only where you watch. Because that was Ninja's failure. He wanted to say, hey, you can watch me anywhere now. It doesn't matter where you are, you can watch me there. But he failed in the aspect of, why would you watch him on TikTok Live or Instagram? It doesn't make any sense. Or at least he didn't have any second wind there. He was still like the same guy. He was always just a Twitch guy. And that is not enough to have success on all the other platforms. He would have needed more than just start to multi-stream there. That's the reality of it. But what if someone like iShowSpeed, as much as his content is pure garbage, what if he did the same thing and started streaming on every platform at the same time? I think he would be a lot more successful than he already is, because his content would work everywhere. And he would actually start pulling in viewers from all those platforms instead of fracturing his audience that is already focused on one platform. That is the reality of it, which is that multi-streaming is only bad if you're coasting on parasocial viewers who keep watching you every day, even if you do something boring as fuck, because then the commodity of being able to choose between platforms might actually mean lower viewership. And boring content plus low viewership is not a good recipe. But that doesn't mean that the next big streamer will not be multi-streaming. I think this is a bad take. And I think that we're headed towards a world where multi-streaming is normal for everybody. Multi-streaming is going to be a new standard. Because again, the only harmful thing about multi-streaming is if your viewership drops because you started multi-streaming. Otherwise, it is completely fine.